In recent days, international attention has once again shifted toward growing unrest in several key regions, as political pressure, public demonstrations, and diplomatic signals intersect on the global stage. Governments, analysts, and observers are closely monitoring developments in Iran and Venezuela, where internal challenges and external responses appear to be unfolding simultaneously. Across Iran, public demonstrations have continued to spread beyond isolated cities and into multiple regions. These gatherings are widely reported to be driven by long-standing economic frustrations, rising living costs, and dissatisfaction with governance. While many of the demonstrations have been described as peaceful, official sources within Iran have acknowledged fatalities and injuries, which has drawn concern from the international community. In response to these developments, the President of the United States issued a strong public statement emphasizing that Washington is closely watching the situation. According to the statement, the United States has a long history of responding to threats against civilian populations and maintains the capability to act if necessary. The remarks were framed as a warning rather than an immediate declaration of action, underscoring that no final decisions had been announced. The statement triggered mixed reactions domestically. Some lawmakers expressed support for diplomatic and economic pressure, arguing that international norms require accountability when civilian harm is reported. Others cautioned against escalatory language, emphasizing that past conflicts demonstrate how quickly rhetoric can lead to unintended consequences. At the same time, the White House reiterated that all options remain under review, while stressing that diplomacy remains a central component of U.S. foreign policy. Officials clarified that no new military orders had been issued and that ongoing assessments were being conducted through established intelligence and diplomatic channels. While Iran remains at the center of global headlines, parallel developments in the Caribbean and South America have added another layer of complexity to the geopolitical landscape. Signs of diplomatic movement involving Venezuela have emerged after months of heightened pressure. U.S. officials have confirmed that communication channels remain open, even as sanctions and enforcement measures continue to impact Venezuela's economy. Analysts note that economic restrictions, combined with international isolation, have placed significant strain on the country's leadership. In a recent interview with local media, Venezuela's president signaled openness to renewed dialogue with Washington. He suggested that cooperation could be possible on issues such as combating drug trafficking and allowing foreign investment in the energy sector. These remarks were interpreted by observers as an attempt to ease pressure and explore potential off-ramps from prolonged confrontation. The U.S. administration responded cautiously. A spokesperson stated that while dialogue is always preferable to conflict, any engagement would depend on concrete actions rather than public statements. According to officials, trust-building measures and verifiable commitments would be required before any meaningful policy shift could occur. Meanwhile, the president has been meeting with economic advisors to outline priorities for the coming year. Trade policy, tariffs, and supply chain stability have been central topics in those discussions. The administration recently announced adjustments to certain tariffs, delaying some measures and reducing others in an effort to balance domestic economic concerns with international trade relationships. In parallel, the president addressed speculation about his health and leadership capacity, stating publicly that routine medical evaluations showed no concerns. He reiterated support for transparency and leadership fitness, suggesting that cognitive assessments should be standard for senior public office holders. As these events unfold, analysts emphasize that the convergence of domestic unrest abroad, diplomatic pressure, and strategic messaging reflects a broader pattern in modern geopolitics. Governments are increasingly navigating crises through a combination of public communication, economic tools, and behind-the-scenes diplomacy. What remains unclear is how these situations will evolve in the weeks ahead. Will protests subside through internal reforms, or will international involvement intensify tensions? Will negotiations with Venezuela lead to tangible change or remain symbolic gestures? These questions set the stage for the next phase of developments, where decisions made behind closed doors may shape regional stability and global relations.